Now let's go to Eli for a look at what's next at 5.
Hey Heather, a real-life nightmare for an Oklahoma family as their son collapses after a workout.
That's when it really hit us. You know, it could be possible that he may not make it.
Tonight, a high school football player's battle with heat stroke. How his parents hope others are inspired by their son's fight. Plus, new concerns sprouting up from a medical marijuana law.
They know I'm a marijuana user, and they're going to start looking for roaches or just roach clips.
Why advocates call it an invasion of privacy. And bracing for Barry. Why the tropical storm is raising new fears about life-threatening flooding. It's all right now at 5.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 5.
Thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock on this Thursday evening. I'm Eli Roberts.
And I'm Heather Holman. A young football player is winning a fight for his life.
And it's been nearly 2 weeks since Sam Tigner suffered a heat stroke, collapsing during a summer workout camp. For over a week, he was in critical condition. But now, Sam's family says he's making progress. Only on 4, Kelly Rolliard sat down with his parents and found out what's getting them through these very tough times.
Sam Tigner is still recovering here at Integris Baptist Medical Center after suffering a heat stroke. His parents say they need a miracle.
I had thoughts of life without him, and that was really hard.
But after nearly 2 weeks of tears and prayers, Sam is slowly starting to make progress.
We're literally taking it one day at a time.
His dad, a Deer Creek football coach, watched his son suffer a heat stroke following a summer workout.
He started to acting different. He just went to the locker room without being told. He started to do things, throwing up, seizures.
Lance rushed him to the hospital and feared having to say goodbye.
That's when it really hit us. You know, it could be possible that he may not make it.
The list of complications lengthy.
Kidney failure, liver failure, lungs, not say collapse, but part of his lungs was completely filled with fluids.
But his family credits the power of prayer for helping him pull through. Sam just got out of the ICU, but there's still a long road ahead. He's battling pneumonia right now.
Just continue to pray for Sam just to get his strength back. Yes, for the blood clots to go away, for his throat to get stronger so he'll be able to talk.
Through the devastation, Sam's parents hope their son's story inspires others to lean on their faith.
It's an honor that he wants to use us as a family to make an impact on other people's lives.
And if Sam could say anything,
he'll say thank you. He works at Chick-fil-A, so he'll say my pleasure. My pleasure of being a part of something special.
In Oklahoma City, Kelly Rolliard, Oklahoma's News 4.
What a difficult story. As you can imagine, the medical bills are racking up for the Tigner family, and as so many people are forced to do these days, they do have a GoFundMe campaign. We've got a link up on our website at k4.com.
A wild crash in Bethany leaves behind quite a mess. Look at this. Air Comfort Solutions Chopper 4 was above the scene this afternoon on Northwest 39th near Southern Nazarene University. Police say the driver was going too fast, crossed over a median, and took out a light pole. That man was rushed to a hospital. Right now, we don't know how badly his injuries are right now, but police do tell us it appears the man was under the influence of something. No one else was hurt. A legal battle could be brewing over medical marijuana. Advocates say a bill signed into law recently raises privacy concerns. Now, an Oklahoma lawyer is calling for patients to challenge it. News 4's Lily Zhang joins us now. And Lily, this is all over Senate Bill 1030.
Heather, that's right. Now, this bill was requested by the Oklahoma Municipal League, and most of it touches on zoning rules, but there is a provision over traffic stops and law enforcement knowing whether you are a medical marijuana patient. That's where some are questioning whether privacy laws are being violated.
It comes back to reefer madness.
John Frazier says he has concerns over this bill on medical marijuana.
They want to identify the marijuana users and categorize us as all being bad.
Senate Bill 1030, signed into law in May, is now being criticized by some as an invasion of privacy when it comes to traffic stops. Senator Lonnie Paxton authored the bill. He says it's meant to protect patients if they're pulled over, caught with a small amount of marijuana but don't have their card on them. The information on it would be provided electronically to police police through the Department of Health.
They treat that the same way they would treat a driver's license. If you're on the road and don't have your driver's license, officer's discretion is they can check to see if you actually have a license and write you a warning, but maybe not write you a ticket.
But not everyone sees it that way. The Durbin law firm based in Tulsa posting this on social media Thursday saying, quote, law enforcement shouldn't have automatic access to learn you are a marijuana patient when they initiate a traffic stop or any other kind of stop. Patients like Frazier fear it could lead to unfair treatment from police.
They know I'm a marijuana user, and they're going to start looking for roaches or just roach clips or just anything else that they can find in my car or smell.
However, Paxton says that's not the intent.
That paragraph in the legislation was put there not as a means for law enforcement to dig deeper into your personal information. It was put there as a means for them to avoid giving you a ticket just because you forgot your card.
Now, we've called this law firm challenging this bill for clarification on why they believe it's an invasion of privacy, and we have not heard back yet.
Thank you, Lily. Oklahoma's historic opioid trial could wrap up as soon as next week. Closing arguments are set to begin on Monday. The state claims drug makers Johnson & Johnson fueled the opioid epidemic by aggressively promoting the highly addictive painkillers. However, officials with that company say they acted responsibly and the state can't prove its case. It could take up to a month for the judge overseeing the trial to make a final ruling.
On Crime Watch, we now know who was killed in an attempted robbery on Oklahoma City's northwest side. Police identified the victim as 34-year-old Jack Viniprasut. Investigators say he and a woman were parked in a car near Northwest 48th and Blackwelder early Wednesday morning when a suspect approached him. That suspect allegedly pulled out a gun and then shot the victim while trying to rob him. A woman was also in the car, but luckily she wasn't hurt. So far, police have not made any arrests. We did manage to speak, though, with a man who says police want to question his former roommate, Kimberly Milligan, about that deadly shooting. They don't know where she's at, though. If you know where she is, call police right now.
Around the state, a neighborly feud involving a lawnmower ends with gunfire in the town of Ada. According to police, 71-year-old John Sliger got into an argument with his neighbor. He claims the man was cutting grass on his property. Police say Sliger punched his neighbor and then shot the man's lawnmower. No one was injured. Sliger is now facing charges for being reckless with a firearm and damaging his neighbor's property. If anyone wants to mow my lawn, come on over. An Oklahoma Police Department is making changes to better protect their community. Shawnee Police Chief Mason Wilson has announced plans to restructure the department's criminal investigation unit. He says there will now be a full-time narcotics unit and a full-time gang unit on staff. Chief Wilson says the department's goal is to create the safest community possible for the town of Shawnee.
From the Sky Center tonight, President Trump is backing down on efforts to get that controversial citizenship question on the census. Instead, he's ordering all federal agencies to turn over documents on citizenship to the Commerce Department. They oversee the census, by the way. The president made the announcement just moments ago and says he will sign an executive order to put the plan into effect right away. The Supreme Court had already blocked the president's efforts to get the citizenship question on the 2020 census, saying that justification for the question was insufficient. Also tonight, there's a new timeline for a sweeping round of immigration raids in the United States. They were supposed to happen last month, but President Trump reportedly delayed the operation. He wanted to give lawmakers more time to reach an agreement on the immigration crisis. But you know what? No agreement was ever reached. The New York Times now reports that Immigration and Customs Enforcement will begin raids this Sunday in 10 major U.S. cities. According to the Times, authorities will be trying to avoid splitting up detained families. People along the Gulf Coast are bracing for Barry. The system is currently a tropical storm, but not for long. It is expected to grow into a Category 1 hurricane before making landfall, likely on Saturday. Thousands in Barry's path are already preparing for the slow-moving storm. They're packing sandbags to protect their homes and businesses from flooding and the storm surge. The amount of water from this storm is a huge concern, with the Mississippi River at its highest level right now in nearly 70 years.
Heed every single warning. We're going to get heavy rainfall for up to 48 hours.
The number one threat is going to be water, is going to be the flooding and the heavy rainfall.
When authorities talk, listen. Mandatory evacuations were already in place in the low-lying areas of Louisiana, which, by the way, there's a lot of that. And that's a look at the news from the Sky Center. Heather, back to you.
Thanks, Eli. State Fair officials want to replace one of Oklahoma City's oldest and most well-known arenas. They met with City Council today to propose using MAPS 4 money to fund construction of a modern facility. It would replace the Jim Norick Arena, also known as the Big House. Officials say the 54-year-old arena has surpassed its lifespan. The proposed replacement is expected to cost $95 million to build. Oklahoma City residents will vote on MAPS 4 projects later this year.
All right, up next, the power of Mother Nature like we have never seen before.
The computer then will create this incredible 3D model.
Tonight, the Oklahoma company behind this new technology, how it's helping first responders in the damage zone.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 5 with Heather Holman, Eli Roberts, Mike Morgan, and Brian Brinkley. Oklahoma's News 4, looking out for you.
Eli knows there's a lot of lowland in Louisiana. I've learned.
Welcome back. New cutting-edge technology is showing us the aftermath of tornadoes like we've never seen before.
It is amazing. A local company is using special photos to create a 3D fly-through of all of the destruction. News 4's Kelly Rolliard shows us how it works. It's new tonight.
We're just starting to scratch the surface.
Oklahomans are getting a new look at something many have seen one too many times, a 3D view of a tornado's destruction.
So I stood there and watched the drone fly in basically a lawnmower pattern as it went back and forth, captured 975 images, came back and landed.
Tom Kilpatrick took the devastating pictures with his drone after the deadly May 25th El Reno tornado, covering all 26 acres of the path, and it created this.
The computer then will create this incredible 3D model and a high-resolution 2D map, and then you've got something permanent that you can look at forever.
Scott McThompson processed the images through the software Pix4D. He says it's a tool that will significantly change meteorology.
I can look at this image and say, okay, this item is so many meters from this item. Is probably the most complete way to survey damage over a wide area.
Kilpatrick says it's long overdue.
But what they've never had in the past is the ability to quantitatively measure what that storm did. You can take pictures, you can look at video, but you can't really measure the impact it's had on certain types of structures.
Both agree with these new tools and all of the resources Oklahoma has with the National Weather Center.
We are going to be on the leading edge of weather prediction and modeling in the future.
And that was Kelly Rolliard reporting. Kilpatrick's drone also has a spotlight to help first responders dig through the rubble at night. It actually is able to use thermal imaging to find victims who are trapped.
Wow, that's awesome. We definitely need that here.
Yeah, absolutely. And luckily, though, no tornadoes right now.
That is so nice. But another hot day to be expected, right, Mike?
Hot, but not quite as humid, perhaps.